All right, so they got the breaking story. It's from a couple weeks ago or a week and a half ago, and it's Barcelona, and some terrorists did what is kind of old news to us here in the United States, which is he used his car as a weapon. So we've been hearing about these stories for the last several years. He took the car, took the truck, plowed it into the crowded area, killed as many as they could, or on the bridge or the marketplace, or whatever it is. So what they did, what Wolf Blitzer did, is he got Jim Scudo, chief national security correspondent for CNN, and he has him boots on the ground over there in Barcelona, and I want to find out 1 dead and 32 injured. This is as of 10 days ago or whatever, but I don't know if the death toll's risen or how it's worked, but the point is now you have the chief national security correspondent and the main man over at CNN, and they got to break down the game film, like what happened here. And, let's dissect this a little as a couple of savvy news anchors who, between the two of them, probably have 62 years experience covering stories, probably more. Let's see if they can discern what happened and what motivated it.
The point I would make, Wolf, is just this note that in light of the uproar of the last several days, 5 days apart, you have white supremacists in Charlottesville use a vehicle to kill, and here you have attackers, at least following the modus operandi of terrorists, using vehicles apparently to kill as well.
All right, hold on. Wolf has a window now to go, Jim, are you fucking high? We're your news outlet. There was 5 days ago. By the way, this is like saying, it rained 5 days ago, and then the volcano went off. So there's a direct correlation between it raining and the volcano erupting, or it rained and then there was an earthquake? Were you fucking insane? First, yes, there's some sort of attack involving a car jumping a curb and hitting someone every day, directed at people every fifth or sixth day. But he's connecting what happened in Barcelona back to what happened in Charlottesville.
Just so I understand, the guy in Charlottesville was not just so we can put a finer point on this. He at one point jumped in his car and did his thing. He wasn't like planning the car attack, right? Am I right on that?
I don't think he was in.
He was there to march.
And he got in the car and just did his thing in some sort of weird impulsive.
Road rage, 20-year-old loser living on his mom's sofa.
It wasn't like he was part of a cell of neo-Nazis.
Well, I don't know. We should ask Jim Scudio or whatever his name is, because he seems to have insights that none of us have. All right, rewind it a little just to hear the insanity. All right, so anyway, look, hey, Drew. He's an expert. You better listen up. You better listen up. You lay people.
Security correspondent.
Yeah, he knows. He knows the world. Don't be naive. Al-Qaeda could have been inspired by the white trash guy. I think it was the guy. He's the son of the guy who was in the Dodge commercial and went, "You got a hammy in that?" That kid inspired Al-Qaeda in Spain.
Sure.
You understand me?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's listen.
Use a vehicle to kill, and here you have attackers, at least following the modus operandi of terrorists, using vehicles apparently to kill as well. And it's those shared tactics that should be alarming.
It's alarming.
Yeah, and there will be questions about copycats. There will be questions if what happened in Barcelona was at all a copycat version of what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, even though there may be different.
Wolf Blitzer, I need to do with you what I do with drunken pilots, which is I need your fucking badge. Like, you can't do this. You can't fly an airplane. You're incompetent. Wow. You can't do this. If there are going to be questions, by the way, so far, 0 questions about copycatting except for by Wolf Blitzer. You'd be the only human being on the planet that could ask if this was a copycat of what happened in Charlottesville. And so, now I get to my stupid or liar. Wolf Blitzer, you can't be this stupid. You have to be lying.
I had an experience with Wolf where after Sandy Hook, I just sat in front of a camera for 3 days. And I was pissed. I was upset. I was sharing my feelings. And on day 3, he goes, "Hey, I really appreciate it." We're, during commercial break, he gets in my ear. He goes, "Hey, I appreciate you coming on our show every day." He goes, Our viewers really seem to be responding to you. I don't get why, but they sure seem to be. I was like, I really laughed out loud. I was like,
That's funny.
Thanks, Wolf. I don't really understand it, but they seem to be responding. Anyway, we'll be in air in a minute.
So rewind it a little bit.
Yeah.
Wolf is thinking that people have to make a connection or might make this connection, although no sane person would make that connection.
He's thinking, I'm getting a step up on this story because I know that they were inspired by the
He doesn't know anything.
I think it's worse than you think. I think he believes this.
No, he's got marching orders.
Maybe.
Why would a sane person be contriving an insane thought this far into his career if there wasn't a implicit?
Who would get in there and say, "Hey, you got to make a connection with this"? I think who would do that? There's
nobody. That's not verbal. It's implied that this is what we do, and you stick with what we do, and you find creative ways to be better at what we do. This is a very creative way because what you do. Here's what we do. We hate Trump, and that's our business. Okay, so Charlottesville, we can get a line from the White House to Charlottesville.
Yeah.
He didn't denounce Nazis.
Right.
That thus inspired this 20-year-old, and thus we can get a straight line from the White House to Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Now, how do we get what happened in Barcelona over to the White House?
Yes.
We can't go straight to the White House. That'd be insane. They think we're insane. He's getting a line. You can get a bridge to Charlottesville. It's like you can't get a connecting flight. You can't get a direct flight to Barcelona, but we can if we do a layover in Charlottesville, and that's what Wolf is and his correspondent friend is attempting to do. Because if they're not attempting to do that, they're insane. Because what they're saying is clearly insane. Just replay it. We'll listen to the whole thing. I'll try not to.
You want
talk.
the whole thing with Jim?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, give me one moment.
And obviously, since neither one of them is saying to the other one, that's an insane thought, there's some sort of big agenda here, because the one should be saying to the other one, I have no idea what you're talking about. This goes on in Europe all the time. They invented this in Europe.
We know what they should do is try to connect it to Nice and connect it to how many 3 or 4 other ones we've had in the last 6 months.
Paris, Berlin,
London.
There's
connected to all of them.
There's plenty to
Let's connect London to this.
This is why they're going to have a lot of difficulty defending their integrity. Because what they're implying here says either I'm insane or I have no integrity. Yes?
Yeah.
Either way, it's not news. Go ahead.
The point I would make, Wolf, is just this note that in light of the uproar of the last several days, 5 days apart, you have white supremacists in Charlottesville use a vehicle to kill, and here you have attackers at least following the modus operandi of terrorists using vehicles apparently to kill as well. And it's those shared tactics that should be alarming.
Yeah, and there will be questions about copycats. There will be questions if what happened in Barcelona was at all a copycat version of what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, even though there may be different characters, different political ambitions. They use the same killing device, a vehicle going at high speed into a large group of pedestrians. And as the local police are saying, at least one person is now dead, 32 injured.
All right.
So I think
he's speaking gibberish.
You know, it's like saying
he's insane. It's like, what happened? The emergency brake came off of Grandma's Chevette and it went into a Costco. So you're using the same killing device.
No, I think it's more like if somebody shot somebody with a gun and then somebody else did, shot in self-defense or something, or whatever, every gun death.
You got to re-listen to it.
I know he said they're using the same mechanism, same device. Like
same tactics.
Yeah, like a gun.
Same weapon.
Yeah.
I know, but it's like, it's a car.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a sane thing? Is there a sane person that thinks there's an ounce of rational thought in this thought process that Wolf Blitzer is undertaking? So we now have to come to one or another conclusion. He's either lying in an attempt to sort of champion a narrative or a cause, or his brain is being eaten by syphilis. Which do you think? You're a doctor, Drew.
I don't think it's a syphilis.
Do you think he believes what he's saying?
Oh, yeah.
No, he does not.
Oh, I think they do.
Drew,
Yeah,
this is where you're wrong. There's no way he believes what he's saying.
See, I think that's where
All right, let's just say Barack Obama was the president.
Yeah.
Would he draw this link?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not? He's talking about
he wouldn't have
copycat
convinced
killing.
himself of all this stuff that he's preoccupied with right now. He's convinced himself that these things are connected.
He has not convinced himself.
Huh?
He's 68 years old. He's been doing this for 40 years. He's not convinced himself, and he doesn't think.
And remember, their thing is if we make the connection before anybody does, we're going to make news.
Drew, you're always wrong, and it's always too sympathetic.
Right.
He's not. He's got a narrative that he's carrying. He doesn't think. When he says. People have to ask themselves, is there a connection?
Yeah.
Is this a copycat?
Yeah.
Do you really think he thinks people have to ask themselves that? Knowing what he knows goes on internationally, and he reports on all the trucks driving into crowds.
I think if you were to stop him in his tracks and say something like that to him, he'd go, "Oh yeah, you're right."
No, he wouldn't. But not on the air, he wouldn't.
No, not on the air, he wouldn't. But
Right.
but I'm saying he's convinced. They've convinced him. So
He's been a journalist since 1972. He does not. No, he does not think with the questions that must be asked. Gary, play it again. Just play it again.
No, I don't want to hear it
Just
anymore.
his portion?
He doesn't think these questions must be asked.
What happened in Barcelona was at all a copycat version of what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, even though there may be different characters, different political ambitions. They used the same killing device, a vehicle going at high speed into a large group of pedestrians. And as the local police are saying, at least one person is now
I got
dead.
it, Gary. You can stop. You can clip those, by the way. You got to edit. But then we don't need. He doesn't believe that.
Why would it be different if he did? It's still the same.
Well, there's a little more. I don't know. Somehow I'd appreciate it a little more if he believed it. So him and the correspondent don't. Now when the next news story comes down the pike, what are we supposed to do?
Oh, that's what's driving me crazy right now. I
don't know where to go now.
No, I don't know where to go to find news. I don't know where to go.
Well, here's what you do. You go to your own brain. Because the thing is when he's telling you, here's how you have to listen to news stories. First off, now, who's telling the story? To factor that in. Is it Fox? Is it CNN?
Yeah.
When Wolf Blitzer says 1 dead in Barcelona, your brain can go 1 dead in Barcelona. You don't have to go half dead, 3/4 dead, 1.5 dead. You can go
numbers you can believe, sort of.
And you can also know that there's a tragedy and a terrorist attack in Barcelona. And by the way, if CNN says terrorist attack, there was a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Because they'll say unknown, whatever, for a long time.
Yeah.
So, if CNN says terrorist attack in Barcelona, terrorist attack in Barcelona.
Yep.
They say 1 dead, 32 injured, 1 dead, 32 injured. If they then start talking about, you have to ask yourself, was this a copycat of what went on in Charlottesville? Now your brain can go, oop, now we're getting to the political side.
Yeah.
Before was what happened.
Yeah.
Now, Wolf and his correspondent are going to put their own flavor on it. And their own flavor shuts your brain off for that.
But then the next 3 hours of broadcasting is going to be the shut-off part.
Here's what I said. I showed this to Gary. I showed it to Matt. I showed it to Nick. I showed it to everyone. And everyone went, are you high? There's no connection between what went on in Charlottesville and what went on in Europe. How do we all know? This guy's a decorated journalist. He has an expert, boots on the ground in Barcelona. Why do all the dummies who work here, including myself, go, no way, when this guy's telling us that? That's the part of your brain kicking in that understands things.
Unfortunately, though, things are usually not that obvious when they're reporting stuff, especially when I read the papers in the morning. It's very difficult to sort out what's a spin and what's the story.
No,
it's really hard.
No, that part, unfortunately, you can't do that part because they read the story and they just go, Dennis Prager said this. And it's like, that's not, he never said that. And what are you to do when you just read it?
They'll say, in response to our careful questioning, he said, as he was walking away, looking back at us with a little bit of disdain, the following. And what he said was, I like your coat.
No.
It's like they color everything.
Yeah, sort of. But in the case of, I was listening to some coverage on Dennis Prager a few weeks ago, and they just said stuff that he didn't say.
Oh, they quote him inaccurately? That's interesting.
Yeah, they're now doing this thing where they don't put quotes around it. They just said, this is what he said.
Then I know not to even pay attention. That I don't even know.
Oh, that you know?
Well, I don't. Then I know
That I don't know. See, I read the paper and I go, I guess that's what he said.
Oh no.
No?
That at least I know to at least be circumspect about.
All right. So look out, Europe, because the 20-year-old guy, the son of that thing got a Hemi in it guy, took his Dodge Challenger.
What was the name of the orange car in Dukes of Hazzards?
The General Lee. Because that guy took the General Lee and plowed it in her group. Look out, Europe, because Al Qaeda has now been alerted to a new tactic of implementing their terror, except for it's one they've been doing for a long time.
And by the way, has picked up a ton of steam lately.
It's one that Wolf Blitzer has reported on numerous times out of Europe.
Well,
that's what makes him stupid or liar. He himself has sat at the desk and talked about what's gone on in Europe many times. So how could they be inspired by what took place after what already happened many times? And the other guy with the 5 days, just 5 days. We don't know. Those questions will have to be asked. And I just yelled at the TV, not by any sane person. No sane person will ever have to ask that. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could
it's
imagine
sad
them,
for Wolf.
Listen,
it's sad.
I can imagine him going, yeah, I think you're right, but this thing is this is skipping back and forth across the pond. It's going both ways. Same weapon.
No, you're right. What happened in Charlottesville was a spontaneous, dumb, angry white supremacist who jumped in his car and saw red.
Right.
These are terrorist attacks, and you can't equate the two, even though, thanks to his in-depth reporting,
same vehicle,
same weapon.
Yeah, same weapon. Yeah.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my weapon detailed after the show with some carnauba wax.
The same weapon?
The same weapon. And then you guys are all going to... Who here doesn't have a weapon to hop into?
I've got a weapon. I'm actually in the market. I'm shopping for new weapons.
New weapons.
Nick's got an Uber weapon. He's going to have a middle-aged grandma pick him up in their Uber weapon and drive him back to us. So I hope you make it in one piece, my friend.
Well, he will. He'll be running over people.
Good luck hopping in your weapon. When he said that, I was like, you mean like the weapon that Olga's going to climb back into in an hour and drive back to her condo in? That same weapon?
Same weapon.
All right.